Good morning, Patriots Den. Give me, a second here. We're getting breaking news as we're sitting here getting ready to start the show. Brian, it's crazy to me. What a week we've had. What a week I've had, as you know.
Yep.
So I'm gonna let Brian do the introduction for the Patriots Den today. Can you handle that? Is that too much?
Ooh, well, we'll see.
We'll see. All right.
So, howdy, y'all. Welcome. This is our last Thursday morning episode for the foreseeable future, as far as I'm aware. We're glad to be having y'all. We have a lot of big things for y'all today. As y'all may have known, Texas just finished voting on their new district maps for the congressional seats. So that's changed a lot of things here locally. And overall, a lot of big things have been happening this past week as well. So we're just looking forward to what's really happening. And as Mr. Prudhomme said, we have a lot of breaking news as well. So why don't we get started with what just happened?
Yeah, so as many of you know, like Brian said, the Texas House of Representatives passed the redistricting. Now, here's the thing with the Texas House passing redistricting. The Texas Senate still has to pass redistricting. And then it has to go to the courts. There's going to be a fight, most likely. But the Texas Senate will pass it. We just got news here that State Representative Briscoe Cain, okay, many people know him as the guy that told Beto O'Rourke, if you want my AR-15, come and get it. And he posted the picture of him with the AR-15 in his office at the Capitol when Beto O'Rourke was there. Briscoe Cain also just happens to be the neighboring state representative to where I live. I have Terry Leo Wilson, and then right across the street of me, literally, is where that line is. That's Briscoe Cain. Well, Briscoe Cain just announced that he hasn't announced it yet. We're getting the inside scoop information here, folks. But he has done a statement of candidacy filing with the FEC. Briscoe Raul Cain III, party Republican, office House Representative, state and district and candidate, Texas 9. And I'll tell you this right now. When that comes out and Briscoe Cain enters the race, he has my complete and full support. I've known him for a very long time, a personal friend of mine. I'm Team Cain. But Brian, we got to talk about, this is just one of the many things that are going to, drop here because of this redistricting. And, CD9 used to be Al Green's district, no longer is. And his district was Fort Bend and just like the west side of Houston is what I'd like to say, the west side of Houston. With redistricting, CD9 is now the east side of Houston, Baytown, Pasadena, Briscoe Cain's, House district. I'm very interested and I'm very curious on how this shapes for, the rest of the elections in the midterms moving forward, because a lot of districts were redistricted.
Yeah, for sure. From what I heard what's her name? Jasmine Crockett's district was just removed as well, or how's that? Something like that.
That's exactly right. Jasmine Crockett's district is gone. It's so her district number is still there.
Yeah.
She no longer is in her district, and that district was turned red. It's a Republican. We flipped it. It's a Republican seat. There's some competitive ones aligned there too, but for the most part, that's a red seat. So goodbye Jasmine Crockett and goodbye Al Green. These are the two loudest Texas Democrats in power in D.C. When we talk about, I think we need to do some redistricting for the Texas House, but we'll talk about that later. In the scope of things, it seems like they did some preventive measures of making Texas look dignified in Austin, in Washington.
I hope so. We've had some unfortunate incidents where some of our representatives don't really, represent us very well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just hoping that, we keep getting some good news as, people prepare for the, next coming races.
Mm-hmm.
Other than those two, is there any other changes we've heard?
Yeah, so let's look. We have CD2, as you know. In the first map, CD2 took kind of all of Kingwood out for Dan Crenshaw. and kind of moved him more Montgomery County, which is a little bit more conservative. The CD2 race, folks, when we look at it, it is 3 candidates right now. There's 4, I'm sorry, 4 candidates right now that, people are talking about in that area, and you go ask them, do you know who's running? This is who they're going to say. They're going to say Dan Crenshaw. They're going to say Steve Toth. They're going to say John Bonk. They're going to say Martin Etwop. That's what they're going to say. And I think with this redistricting, I don't see CD2 changing much when it comes to like the demographics and the way that people think.
Yeah.
It kind of just got moved over a little bit, just like a scooch. We need like 1,000 votes here real quick, so you scoot over. And so I'm going to be very interested to see how that plays out. I don't know I think Dan Crenshaw's still in his district. I'm not sure. We all know how we feel about Dan Crenshaw on this show. We're not too fond of him. So I think that's going to have to be one of those we play by ear. But then it puts, me in the situation of now I want to look at CD18. Sheila Jackson Lee's old district. Barbara Jordan's old district. Sylvester Turner's old district. The blue dot in the Texas map. Does Al Green jump into CD18?
I mean, what's competition? That's really the big question there.
There's no incumbent. Well, so CD18 is actually an open seat right now. So Sheila Jackson Lee won the election. She died of cancer. Sylvester Turner replaced her. He died of cancer. And they both died within a year of each other.
Yeah.
So that seat has not had any representation until the special election happened, which hasn't happened yet. So, I mean, there's the only major people. There's Amanda Seals. There's, Amanda Edwards, Yolanda Jones. I'm sorry. There is no competition in that area. Isaiah Martin, a TikToker, there is no competition. C18 is right next to Al Green. They love him there. It's a blue district. They made it even more blue. Does Al Green run in CD18 to stay in Congress? Because that's the only way he gets in there. So then it brings us to the talking point of, well, should a person live in the district of which they represent?
I would say, yeah, 100%. I think at worst case scenario, it slows down how quickly people can just come in and replace, politicians. Mm-hmm. You see, on a national level, it's a really big problem where we have big names like, for example, Vivek, travel around the country, find a state they think they can win and run in, and usurp the local, politicians, mm-hmm. and use that to kind of pad their resume. And mm-hmm. I think if you have to run in the district you live in, you, by extension, have to represent the people you live with. And right. I think you would also have to be more responsible as well, because you're running to get the vote of people that, you would go shopping to, go to church with, interact with on your day-to-day life. So if you, don't represent them well, that has an impact not only on your professional life as a politician, but also on your personal life, because these are the people that you should be associating with. Mm-hmm. And you don't really see that with people who just move in to run because they're like, oh, I'm just going to say I live here, but I'm really not going to live here.
Absolutely. I know for me, and districts are huge. Yeah. A district can be huge, but I think the culture of the area matters. I wouldn't even talk to him. It was on this show where we had the engagement chair of the Harris County Republican Party, John Branch Jr. He sat right here in the seat. And one of the many things he says is that Cindy Siegel says the chairman of the Harris County Republican Party is right candidate, right race. You can't put a candidate like me in, a CD18 race. It's no way that I'm going to win. There's no way I'm going to get those votes because I don't align with the views of the people in that area. I have no history of winning in that area.
Yeah.
But if I just wanted to be a seat or name on a ballot, then sure. And I think that a lot of the times we find ourselves in a situation where we have a lot of political opportunists in, in government right now.
Yeah, 100%. Post-Trump's election, that's all it is. It was just like, oh, let's take advantage of the momentum. Let's try to get as much power as we can because no one's really looking. Mm-hmm. And right now still, politics is dead for the most part. You and I care about it because, right. We're politics guys. But beyond that, no one really cares about politics. They care about a headline or two, but not really the actual workings of it? I mean, how many people do you think actually care about the redistricting like 2 days after the headlines pass?
No one. And I think it's crazy because a lot of people think redistricting has like completely passed. They think it's in effect now, and it still has to get voted on in the Senate, which that's happening right now. But a lot of people are going to go to the voting booth and think that they're voting for one person, and they're not voting for that person anymore because they just don't care. They're not educated. I know for my district, 36, we were not touched. We range from, Chambers County and then straight up north, almost to the border of Texas. Pretty big area, but it's more land than people.
Yeah.
And so we didn't get touched at all. We're a Republican area. There was no need to touch us. We didn't lose anything. We didn't gain anything. But CD9, when I looked at the map, I was like, wait a minute, that is like really close to me. Like that is, I can walk from my house to CD9 given my condition and not be tired. Let's just say that. Because of how this new map was redrawn. And, CD18 brings in, but I think a lot of people, they don't care. And the ones that do care, they don't know where it originated from. They don't know where it originated from. And I think the story of why we're in redistricting is one of the most important stories, Brian. And this is going to kind of help us go into that next segment of redistricting and the truth of the Democrat Party and the truth of, who is, I believe that there is oppression in America, Brian. And we're going to talk about who the most oppressed people in America is right here in a second. Is. Because it's going to get there. Not are, is. The most oppressed people in America is.
It would be people.
It's not a person, though. That's the thing. See? It's not a person that's oppressed. That's why I said is. Watch this. Most of you didn't know, this comes directly from the one of the founders of the Texas Coalition of Republican Clubs, which I so graciously am the co-chair of public relations for, Jacovia Cartwright. Most of you didn't know the redistricting fight in Galveston County started because Democrats, watch this, sued to force an extra seat by claiming, listen to this is a quote from them, black Republicans don't count as minority representation. The Fifth Circuit Court just ruled in Petaway versus Galveston County that the law doesn't allow combining different groups to create a coalition district. In other words, Republicans followed the law and Democrats tried to use the Voting Rights Act to carve out seats for themselves, then played victim when it didn't work. Go read the case for yourself. Petaway versus Galveston County. Headlines don't tell the full story, and notice the pattern. Democrats always need a boogeyman when they can't win on facts. They drag out Trump or cry racism. It's the same playbook to get you riled up to just call it racist. This is the same crowd that stood behind Biden's line, if you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. Wow.
Powerful.
Powerful. Where is it? Powerful, Jacobia. Powerful. Right now, folks, we are in a time where being conservative puts a target on your back. You are told that you're racist, derogatory, homophobic, transphobic, all of these different things. Being a conservative is not easy, but being a conservative is definitely worth it. Why do I know it's worth it? What does the Bible tell us, Brian? The persecuted are what?
Blessed.
The persecuted are blessed. The Democrats fight and say black Republicans don't count as minority representation. So what do they count as? What is the black Republican? What is he? Is he a minority? Is he a majority? What am I as a black Republican? Right. Do you know the answer?
I think you're a majority. I think you're part of the big group, man.
I think it clearly.
Apparently. They can't be wrong. It must have been peer reviewed and everything. Like they probably had 10 studies to back up that claim.
Studies with all the experts.
Exactly. And
All the
I heard even Fauci signed off on it too.
I mean, but this is what the Democrats do. This is what they do. They throw a stone and then they hide their hand. They want to live these lifestyles, and the moment you disagree with them, whether you know them, whether you're friends with them, it does not matter. They will do everything in their power to play the victim. If there is a crash course on victimhood, the Democratic Party platform would be the textbook for the class. Every single time a Democrat opens their mouth, it's so they can say, I am a victim. I am a minority. When the Democrats have been winning the popular vote until Trump came along, of course. So what did I mean by the most oppressed people? The most oppressed people is the conservative. That's the most oppressed. The conservative is the most oppressed. They hate you. They hate your beliefs. They hate your faith. They hate your love for this country. They hate your family values. They hate you because you represent what the founding fathers wanted this country to be, and you refuse to stand by and let them do whatever they want to do. You believe in structure, you believe in foundation, you believe in law and order, and you believe in the rule of the law. And they hate it because they believe in chaos, destruction, and confusion. Brian?
I mean, pretty good monologue, I'll tell you that.
Thank you. I try my best.
Did you write that down?
I did not.
No
I did
practice
not.
or anything?
No,
Just
no notes. I'm actually on my my photo album right now.
oh man, inspirational. I guess you need a picture of yourself.
We'll get to that as well. Well, I'll be like later in the show though.
Yeah. Well, I just had one quick question. I mean, we all know Republicans are probably going to lose the midterms at this rate with how PR has been going with Trump's campaign, or not even campaign, just his administration.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been doing himself any favors. You might say that, he's acting well, he's doing good laws, but the average person doesn't think so. I mean, his approval ratings among Gen Z have dropped like double digits, which, as you know, Gen Z was one of his bigger voting bases this time around. So, I mean, with that being said, do you think with all these redistrictings happening around the country, what's your prediction?
If Republicans win the redistricting fight, like if Florida and Florida, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, if they do their redistricting like they say they are, and Republicans win all the new seats that they add, then we keep the House. I think that just because Trump has a low approval rating, the Republican Party as a whole does not have an approval rating. The Democrats are polling in some places as low as 8%.
What are those places, though?
When I say places, I mean in polls. Some polls, which are national polls, they're polling at an 8% approval rating. And these are polls asking Democrats, are you favorable of your party?
Well, I guess here's my follow-up question. With, I guess, both sides being as unliked as they are, I mean, do you think there's going to be a massive turnout? No, I mean, that's an obvious no. There's not going to be a massive turnout, but to what extent?
I think we're going to have, like in this election, there were, 10 million votes that Joe Biden apparently got that Kamala Harris didn't get. If you go back and look, a lot of that 10 million went to Trump and then scattered itself down the ballot. So people would rather, hold their nose and vote for Trump, some of them that didn't vote for him the last time, or they'll throw their vote down to the third party, fourth party, fifth party. And all that does is help Republicans, right? Because Republicans, we've never, kind of aimed for winning that popular vote because we know we're probably not going to win that because how many people live in Los Angeles County alone that live in California and New York by themselves. But if we can just get the key states on our side, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, Nevada, Arizona, we get those 7 on our side, we win the election. Georgia showed promise. It flipped back red. North Carolina showing promise. It's staying red. Arizona showed promise again. It flipped red, comfortably flipped red, mind you. Nevada, for the first time in my lifetime, went red comfortably. The only one that didn't flip red comfortably was Wisconsin, and it still flipped red. And it's not just Donald Trump that won. Republicans won up and down the ballots. We actually took the House. We look at Montana. Tim Sheehy, great guy, worked on his campaign. He flipped a Democrat seat in Montana. Right? We look at Pennsylvania. That's a seat that was flipped for us to gain. Georgia's about to have their Senate elections with, I can't think of the guy. John Ossoff, right? If it continues going in the path that we're seeing, many people, election predictors, they're looking at this and they're going, well, we think, we know that the Republicans will keep the Senate. We knew that. The big, beautiful bill only passed by how many votes? 1 in the House, which is why Trump is now going and saying, okay, well, we need more House seats. And when you look at the way of the layout in California, Republicans make up 30% of their electorate, but they only have 17% representation when it comes down to the House of Representatives, right? So Massachusetts has no Republican seats at all. Think about that. So gerrymandering is not a Republican thing. Republicans aren't the ones that were doing it. The Democrats in the big states have been the one doing it, and the one that does it the most is the one that's crying victim the loudest, Governor Gavin Newsom. But we all know in reality he's just trying to prepare himself for a 2024 presidential run.
Yeah, 100%. At this rate, it looks like a Vance v. Newsom. I'm not going to lie to you. That's what it's looking like. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not happy about it.
Battle of the looks? Is that what this is?
No, because they're both ugly.
Like that's what I think a lot of people are looking at Vance Newsom. And
I don't want it. I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't want it. I've always said that in the primary, I'd probably vote for Glenn Youngkin.
If it came down to those two, would you even vote?
Yeah. No, I'd vote for Vance before I vote for Newsom.
No, that wasn't the question. I said, would you even vote?
For?
Would you even vote?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. If that's what it comes to, I might.
That's not how you know that's not how politics works, Brian. That's why you're smiling. You know that's not how politics work. Trump knows that he needed someone young, and he needed someone already on the political scene. Why? Because they have 4 years. Trump cannot run for another term in 2028. So Trump will be one term here, 4 years, and he's gone. He can't run anymore. We need people who can immediately step up. Not build a character and a reputation, but can immediately step up.
Who would have been your pick?
If I was Donald?
Yeah, 2024.
2024, from the list that everyone was talking about, it would have had to be JD as well. I would have loved Byron Donalds, but oh wait, he is in Florida. You can't pick him. Glenn Youngkin, governor of Virginia. I mean, all the people. I wouldn't have picked anyone out of the House because we see how slim those margins are. Yeah. We can't afford to lose anyone there. So the only valid argument was either go get an influencer that no one really knows or go to the Senate and get someone who would also help me in those areas such as Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. That showed to be true. There's no one else on the table. Because all of the big, loud names right now, where are they? Either in power comfortably or Florida. So there was nothing else for him to do. He wasn't going to go get the lieutenant governor of Texas. I would have loved a Trump Patrick ticket, right? But Dan Patrick's not leaving Texas. So it put him
You think he wouldn't have gone
No.
VP if he was offered to?
He loves this job. And so that's the thing. So no one else was kind of there. He had no other options other than Vance when you look at the list. I think a lot of people were like, well, Marco Rubio was on the list, and he shouldn't have been because he was from Florida. So everyone knew that wasn't going to happen in the beginning.
Well, we're 3 years out, so hopefully a new name pops up.
I think it's too late. I think most people that are Republican have an idea of who their favorite Republican is, and I think that we're going to have I think we'll have a contentious Republican primary with a lot of candidates and a lot of options. I know that there's 2 names off the top of my head that if they announce that they're running, they have my support. So we'll just three names that if they run, they'd have my support. I highly doubt that third one would run, but if he did, he'd have my vote. And that's Greg Abbott, Glenn Youngkin, Byron Donalds.
A Greg Abbott presidency wouldn't be too bad.
I would love a Greg Abbott presidency, coming from the true Texan in me, right? The true Texan in me is like, I would
take it over Vance. I'll tell you that.
Love a Greg Abbott presidency. Greg Abbott plays no games. I think that he'd be, handicapped in that election simply because of his situation. The truth of politics, right? But
FDR did it
when there were no cameras. But I don't see Greg Abbott running. Byron Donalds is running for governor of Florida.
Yeah.
I don't see him just doing one term. and then going for president. But Glenn Youngkin, governor of Virginia, who's about to no longer be the governor of Virginia because he's term limited.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, seems like it.
Why not?
Well,
and if he does, he's got my support. You've got my support. Oh, we just got some news in here. Hold on, let me see. New York appeals court throw out the $500 million penalty against Trump and the Letitia James civil case. Interesting. And then right before that, an ex-aide to the New York City mayor, Eric Adams, allegedly tried slipping reporter cash in a chip bag. That's such a New York thing. So a lot coming out of the New York courts right now that we're kind of get things out of. New York appeals court just tossed out Tish James' bogus case against Trump. The left's favorite game, weaponizing the justice system, just blew up in their face again. The Biden era of lawfare is over. That comes from Texas Representative Wesley Hunt. Back to what we were kind of saying earlier, the liberals' favorite tactic is the throw something at you, don't get away. Now it's time for us to play victim, which I'm sure that's exactly what we're about to see. Is them play victim for this one, Brian.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to me that I forget sometimes that even though Trump is president, he still has these cases that when he's no longer president, he's going to have to fight. And this is why we voted for him. This is why he's in office now. Because once again, the Democrats can't, play fair. And so in order for Republicans to win, sometimes you have to stoop to their level. You look at, once again, the most oppressed is the conservative. Why do I say that? This right here. Conservatives automatically have a target on your back. You walk outside in the red hat, you're automatically a target. And it's even worse because there's some people who know this to be true, and they themselves will be conservative, but just so no one else knows and just to protect themselves from, the hate of the left, they will try to portray themselves, as independent or liberal so they don't get canceled. There's a girl on TikTok right now who I thought I loved her content. She does like comedy and stuff, but she's on live and she goes, one day they said that I would get canceled because there would be, leaks of me, liking conservatives on Twitter and yada, 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 And it's a white lady, a white girl. She's in college. And she goes, well, I'll tell you now, it would never. Don't ever compare me to a man who I absolutely despise. And they were only saying that she was Republican because she was white and, blonde, grew up in a two-parent household, was straight, a typical conservative. And she goes, don't ever compare me to that bigot, that racist. And I go, wow. And anyone who aligns with him, anyone who voted for him, I've cut people out of my life because they are bigots and racist. Have you ever had a conversation with these people?
Yeah. They're very fun people to be around, I'll tell you that.
It's unfortunate that they say, oh, because you're a Republican, you're automatically considered a racist.
I had this one friend of mine. He's starting up college this semester, and I remember he was telling me he got kicked out of all these like group chats for the semester before it even started because they looked at his story posting, and we would post like these right wing content on there. Like, oh, this guy's a bigot. And they would like kick him out of these group chats and stuff, just preemptively. Like, have you seen this guy? He's racist. And my friend was like, he was laughing like he doesn't care. He already has his friend group. He already has his people. But I mean, it's crazy that people still do that nowadays. Yeah. It's like, oh, this guy supports something I don't agree with. Let's cut contact completely.
Right. It's political discrimination. It's not prosecution. They're not. It's persecution.
You would call that persecution?
It's persecution. They are persecuting someone simply because they don't agree. I mean, what happened to the ability to agree to disagree?
Exactly. And like for me, it's crazy that such a basic social media post will like have such big repercussions in real life. Like, oh, here I'm gonna post a thing on Instagram about me agreeing with the governor
of my state. Right.
Exactly. But now that's like derogatory. Could you imagine getting in trouble for something like that?
I couldn't. I couldn't imagine it. But I can live it. Because it's happening to me right now, day in and day out.
Really?
I have a meeting after this with the student conduct of my school. Can you believe that? Me and Brian go to the same school, Houston Christian University. A meeting with the student conduct because I have repeatedly made derogatory remarks to demographics on campus. Really? Who made the remark? And
were they directed at? Who made them?
Watch the wording of that. You have repeatedly made derogatory remarks on campus.
You have, though.
To demographics on campus. And I
know one demographic you've done this against. The people you play against in Primes League. And no, even the people you play with, too, depending on how they're playing.
Right. But it's like, I don't understand.
And we got moving tomorrow too, which is crazy.
We move and it's a whole festival there, but they said I did it. They said you did it. So I said okay. Well, what did I say? Who did I say it to? When did I say it? What made it derogatory? Well, we're not too sure about that. We'll send it over to you and we'll let you. So it went from I did do it to, well, allegedly you did it. Well, I think you need to figure it out quickly.
Yeah.
11:30 gets here because I'm walking in there and we're gonna figure that out and we'll keep people in contact. We've been in contact with some big names in Texas, some powerhouses about the situation. But it's a shame that here I am. Patrick Prudhomme, host of, the Patriots Den, candidate for the Chambers County Republican Party chair position, co-chair of public relations for the Texas Coalition of Republican Clubs, soon to be in contact with the Black Conservative Federation, helping them with some stuff, campaign assistant for the John Bonk campaign up in CD2. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We could sit here all day and talk about kind of what I've done and what I currently do. And, for someone to care so little, and that's what makes me not care as well, is the left will go to any extent to get rid of you. And this is what I have to those people out there. As Donald Trump said yesterday, I was once the hunted, now I'm the hunter. The more they come at me, the more they come at other conservatives, the louder we're going to get. The more frustrated we're going to get, the more irritated we're going to get, and the harder we're going to fight. You don't believe us? Look at 2024. You don't believe us? Look at what's happening in the Texas House right now. We're just getting rid of them. We're not even up here to know. We're not even just get rid of them. Jasmine Crockett is a nuisance to Washington, D.C. We're not even trying to fight it. Just get her out of there. Bye. If you don't want to do the job, if you don't want to, and it's funny, it's always the people with this sticker on their car that's like this. If you don't want to coexist I'm sure you've seen those coexist with all like the
They're
religions
awful.
and all. Yeah, it's those same people with those coexist stickers that don't want to coexist.
Have you seen the response to that sticker?
I've not.
It's one that says convert, and it's all like Christian symbols on it.
I have to get one of those, right? I mean, it's you want us to. This is the United States of America.
Yeah.
We're going to disagree. Me and Brian disagree about something every single day. I disagree with him wearing that polka dot shirt with that black jacket, right?
It's nice. I don't know what you're talking about. Look at that. It's a little blue with the white little symbols. Like, that's a nice shirt. It's dark. It goes with the dark suit.
It's not.
You know,
it's
it goes
bold.
with your blue suit.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
anything.
You know, we went blue shirt today. You know,
Yeah.
it's a bold decision. I like it.
It's
But
blue for the last day.
That's the beauty of America. That's the beauty of this diverse nation is that we can disagree on something, but at the end of the day, we can all wrap around the red, white, and blue and go, we're Americans at the end of the day. We are hard-working Americans who all want the same thing, which is the best for this country. Me and Brian, we disagree not on the problems, but we disagree on the solutions. How do you do that? You mediate, you coexist, you work a way around, because at the end of the day, we all want what's best for this country. We don't know what's best, for countries overseas. And some people do have, foreign interest over their own. But the average American, the average voter, just cares about what happens here. Are the streets safe? Gas prices low? Food prices low? Can I buy a home? Can I buy a car? Can I go to school? What else am I missing, Brian?
I mean, you got home, you got job, you got family.
Yeah.
I mean, beyond that, I think everything else just comes along with those three. But it's funny you mentioned that. I mean, I heard someone talking about this yesterday, actually, before I crashed after the hiking trip.
Mm-hmm.
This one political commentator was, he's independent, so he's not conservative or left wing. He's, away from that spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
He just likes to view the news and give his opinion on it, which I like because it lets me get an idea of what's going on without too much bias.
Mm-hmm.
He was arguing that which president in modern times have really helped the average American when it comes to home prices, when it comes to, salaries in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And he pointed out that, I think we've said this on the show before, house prices have only been going up recently.
Mm-hmm.
Prior it used to be just because, value was going up, but you could argue it goes down eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the reason it's going up is because of material prices going up. Like a piece of wood now is almost 4 times more expensive than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's the not fun part about housing. You can valuation on the land is one thing that can go up and down, but material prices, if they don't go down, that price isn't going to go down either.
Yeah.
Because I know some friends of mine, they're like, oh, I'm just going to wait till the housing market crashes and then I'm going to buy a house. I'm like, if that crashes, bully, you assume you're going to get a mortgage.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's not going to crash because right now it's not artificially high. It's high based on the value of materials, based on the value of land. Everything is priced out. It's not artificially high like we had in 2008 where people were, just buying to buy. Right now people buy if they can.
Yeah.
So this commentator was speaking like which president has really helped out with that? And you got the answer that no one really has. It's always been going up and it's never once gone down to a significant amount.
And
the average American now, especially in Gen Z, won't be able to get a house. They're going to be lucky if they get a good rental.
Yeah. And that's if, the parents didn't prepare their child for a home 20 years ago, right? If like when I was born, my mother, would have had to open me account and put $1 in it, almost put $1,000 every day in there for the next 20 years.
Oh, that's not even touching college either.
For me to be able to buy a home and have college. So, and the thing is, it's no one talks about it. If you go to political events, the price of housing is not a concern. The market, that's not what people are talking about. They focus on the regular topics, like the border, the parts of the economy, not the full economy, just, the numbers that people look at to look good, crime, things like that. But what about making life easier for the American? The American dream, every day when you wake up, It's further and further and further and further out of reach.
Well, that's the issue. I mean, Democrats don't want it because it would make them look too conservative if they cared about, the American in any meaningful way. It's easier to say we'll give you welfare than it is to say we're going to fight for you to get paid better against our lobbyists. Republicans are similarly, but they have an extra hurdle that they don't appear socialist. If the Republicans say we care about the workers and we want to fight the corporations against them, socialists, he wants to fight corporations,
Right.
bad. And that's the issue. Neither party, neither side really wants to. You have the extremes on both sides, obviously, saying,
Absolutely.
oh, yeah, we don't care. We'll do it anyways because they don't care about looks. But both parties have optics to look for, and unfortunately, those optics prevent these kinds of changes. A big reason why housing has been as big of a problem as it is obviously material prices, as you said. But another one is just the buying up of real estate up by these giant firms for the purpose of rental properties. And they overpay on these properties, knowing that if they keep doing this, eventually they'll have to, no one else will be able to live anywhere else except their rental properties.
Yeah.
There is a silver lining, though. Some parts of the U.S., you're seeing mass sell-offs of properties. I'm talking like 5-year wait list on average, where like it takes that long to even get a home looked at or to get sold, because that's everyone's trying to sell now, because they're like, oh, I want some money now, and I think it's worth a lot, but the market's starting to get saturated, which is a good thing. Right now, there's more sellers than buyers in some parts of the country, which in theory will allow prices to go down, but it's not sustainable. That's the issue. It's only happening now because people want to sell, because they want to sell their second home, not because it's like artificially.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at it, and I call it pageant politics. Like you said, they care about how they look on the runway. They care about what they look like, so they can get that special primetime spot on Fox News.
Yep.
But then you have those who don't play pageant politics. They don't need the makeup. They're cut and dry, and this is what it is.
Yeah, like
These are
Massey.
the issues. This is what needs to be done. Massey, I would even call a pageant politician.
Really?
Yeah, anyone that wants to walk around with a hashtag sassy with Massey, he's a pageant politician too. He's creating image. It's imagery. It's politics. That's what he's doing. He's playing politics to a certain base, and that's the base that he's going for. Then you have those people, Byron Donalds, who, Byron Donalds has disagreed with Trump on some things. He's agreed with Trump on some things. But at the end of the day, he stays true to his values, stays true to his morals, and he's not doing it for the clout. He's not having no fancy hashtags. He's not trying to shoot for a presidential cabinet position. No. He's right now running an election in Florida for the governorship. And it's not an election bashing DeSantis. It's not an election bashing Democrats. It's an election on who is Byron Donalds and what is Byron Donalds going to do. We need more of that. He's addressing housing. John Bonk in CD2 running against Dan Crenshaw. If you go on his Instagram, every day he's posting an update about the housing market. Is it up? Is it down? Is it steady? His wife is a realtor. So this is what they do. He's a mortgage lender or something like that. So they look at housing, and I've talked to him about it. And he says, there is a solution, a legislative solution at that. They just don't care. The people in D.C. don't care. It's the let them eat cake mentality.
Who pays their paychecks?
Exactly.
Like, personally, if I had the power to get one law done, it would probably there's a lot of things. I'll make that
Give
very
me
clear.
one law and it's going to be full of pork.
But regarding housing, I would just say a full ban on buying single-family homes for any companies. I think single-family homes should both be for single families.
Yeah.
Because what else would what reason would a company have for owning a single-family home other than to rent it out at a profitable price?
Right.
And I don't want to sound like a socialist here, but where there's profit, there's inefficiency. Because you need to take more money out for profit instead of just allowing those people to be paying what they need for the house, which is what most people would be doing normally. You'd buy the house, and all the money you are paying is to pay off what the worth is of the house. Meanwhile, with rent, you have to add in that profit margin as well, which is the only reason for that extra cost is to, give them extra money, return on investment, if you will.
Right.
But if you own the house, that's not an extra expense you have to pay.
And that's only on the house. That doesn't even get into everyone's favorite, the PT, the property tax. Some people are in their 80s and 90s still paying property taxes on houses that they lived in their entire life. There are some places that have school tax on senior citizens that people, they don't have kids in school. They're not in school. They have no reason to,
Well,
be
I would
funding the
disagree there.
schools.
I personally don't see an issue with taxing the elderly. I mean, I'm being serious. We have to pay for the Social Security.
Well,
don't we?
no, I'm saying the school tax, not tax. I'm not saying don't tax, senior citizens. But if you're gonna tax somebody, tax them on, put their tax dollars towards something that they actually need.
No, I disagree. I don't need Social Security. We're never going to see that Social Security either. Have you seen how bad it is?
And that's why there needs to be reform in the Social Security.
No, I would argue just like as long as we have to pay for their stuff, like Social Security, food stamps, all of their stuff, I don't care. They should be paying in as well. And at least
what
here,
does your school tax go to? Do you know what your school tax go to?
doesn't it go to the school?
So it goes to potentially the city, maybe the school, or the city council can make a new bond and vote on it, and then take that tax and then take that and then add it to yours and raise it. So the school tax, it's not a state issue, right? The school tax and that's not a federal issue. That's not a state. That's a county by county kind of issue. You see what I'm saying? So the taxes that you're talking about, that's completely different from the quote unquote property tax that no one wants.
Yeah.
No one wants to. Why should I have to pay taxes on my property when those taxes don't actually necessarily go to anything? Some areas.
I mean, don't we really have that property tax for the reason we don't have a state income tax here in Texas?
Well, your property tax is dictated based on where you live as well. So if the state of Texas were to come out with a property tax, that's different.
Yeah.
But most of it is like the county appraiser going to the area and going, I think we need to raise the taxes on this property, and then leaving without, really good reason.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. And then you have some places
But
that have
however, I will tell you this.
property tax and school tax.
At least in Fort Bend, you're able to contest that value on the house.
Yes. Paul Bettencourt is one of the main people that do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would argue that's the counter to that. It's like, oh, but if you disagree with the price, you can give them reasons why it's not worth as much.
But that whole process is a headache in itself. And then you have areas like Chambers County where I live, where once you turn a certain age or you've lived in your house for a certain amount of time, you no longer pay the property tax on that, or you no longer pay the school tax. You only pay the tax to the county or to the city in areas that will actually affect you. Right now, the city of Baytown is about to have a bond on the ballot that could potentially, it's not going to raise your taxes, but it's going to raise your tax rate. So you're getting taxed the same amount, but you're just getting taxed more if the bond passes.
Yeah.
And it's $150 million for the restoration of parks. Baytown has 56 parks, over 1,000 acres. Why are the Democrats trying to fight for more? I don't know.
Restoration, you said?
The building and restoration of parks. Meanwhile, we have drainage issues, horrible roads, infrastructure falling apart, and the mall is yet to be built. It's just a piece of flat dirt land.
I mean, wouldn't the mall fall under private investment, not the city?
No, it's the city.
City owns the building? Mm-hmm. They should sell it off then.
Doo-hoo. The last time they sold it off, they sold it to a hotel that's made no profit. They made a whole resort, made no profit, a waste of all of people's money. Right? So it's one of those things where when you look at the stuff, it looks good until you dive into it. And when you dive in and you take that extra step, you go, well, wait a minute. What actually is this? What am I actually looking at? What am I actually reading? And it's something completely different. School tax, property tax, bonds, which is why politics matters not only in what the federal government is doing, but it matters in what the state government is doing. It matters in once you get past the state, it goes down to your county government. What is your county government doing? Okay, well, once you get down with your county government, what is your city government doing? Okay, once you get done with the city government, what is your precinct government doing? You see, there is a long list of things to do, but the average person only knows who the president of the United States is and maybe the governor sometimes. I've met people that don't even know who the governor of their state is. And I'm like, how do you not know who the governor of your state is? I would hate to ask you who your mayor is. You don't know. You'll think it's, you don't even live in Houston, and you just told me Sylvester Turner is your mayor. No, he's not. You live in Fort Bend. You live in Sugar Land. Your mayor's Carol McCutcheon. Shout out to Carol, right? So a lot of people, they're uneducated on these issues, and someone has to be the voice of concern. Someone's got to raise these issues.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it. If not, we're going to continue to see where we are, which is why people don't like conservatives, because we're starting to call it out. There's a group of conservatives boiling over. We're boiling over, and some of us are further right than others. Had a great conversation with like 3 of them yesterday, and got one sitting in front of me. They're a little more concerned than others, but we all want the same outcome, and it's boiling over, and we're getting louder. We're getting louder. I was talking to one guy. He was talking to me about Nick Fuentes, and he said, you look at the Fuentes movement, America First movement, all this 4 years ago. It was basically non-existent.
He doubled his following base this past year alone.
Yeah.
And he's like getting these big interviews. I think he did one with Tate actually last week.
Mm-hmm. And he said 5 years ago we weren't we didn't really exist.
Nope.
And now here we are.
You got Tucker Carlson freaking out over it too.
Yeah,
big names are like starting to pick. He had a meeting with Trump like a while back ago too.
Yeah, and these are the same person that they banned from these events and said that
it's even better
to anything.
He's banned from everything. He has no access to banks either. Like, did you know that?
I did. So and which is what's so crazy to me. So I applaud Nick Fuentes, because he refuses to shut up, and that's what we need more of. Refuse to shut up. That's the quote of the day. Refuse to shut up.
Like, you can say whatever you want about the guy. He's not perfect by any means, but
Absolutely.
you have to give it to him. The guy does it for the love of the game, the love for the country. A friend of mine was showing me some clips from his show. He was like, bro, check this out. The guy doesn't do any sponsorships in his show. Mm-hmm. He says, I'm here to... He does from what he told me is he does a monologue where he talks politics, talks news, and then he does a segment where he just talks to his audience. Yeah. And that's the only way he gets money from his audience sending him donations, which you have to applaud the guy. Like, he doesn't I think we've all grown up with like these political commentators like Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles. Half the show is just sponsorships.
Yeah. Mind you guys, this is sponsored by... Like, come on.
And then he spends like 5 minutes per ad. It's like,
yeah, and it's...
Get to the news. Like, I'm not watching here for an ad. If I want
buy from the people that love you. Like, come on.
They do not care about me.
Literally. But because Nick Fuentes, I feel like he'd still be doing what he was doing no matter how much money he was making. And some people rumor that he's close to being a millionaire. Some people say that he's still broke. I don't know the answer, right? They're saying he's got no money to a lot of money. But it doesn't matter, if he does have no money, the fact that he's still doing it, I applaud him for that. Great job.
He's been doing this. Kind of like you, actually. He's been doing this since he was a teenager.
Yeah.
Just out of at first it was like a little thing out of his dorm, and now he has his own studio.
Right. And so, I applaud him for what he's doing. I really do. Folks, we are, we've hit the hour, and I want to make sure that we say this before we get off air. This will be the last show we do on Thursday mornings. So stay tuned. The Patriots Den's not going anywhere, right? We'll still be here. I'll still be here. Brian will still be here. Just a different day and a different time. That's all, right? Or maybe just a different time. We'll have to see. But this will be the last show for the Patriots Den. It has been an amazing half a year.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing half year with you guys. Me and Brian have had a lot of fun here. And so...
met a lot of great people, too.
Yeah, met a lot of great people that have sat in that chair. And to see that, we've come a long way. And this is only the beginning. The Patriots Den has been around since 22. And it's had its ups, it's had its downs. So this definitely will not be the final goodbye. We'll definitely be back in some form. We're not sure what it will be or what it looks like right now, but we will be back in some form. Don't know where, don't know when, but we will be back. This is definitely not the end. Brian?
It was a pleasure. I love this show. It was great every time we'd come back to campus after the show during the semester. We'd have the guys in the library telling us, dude, we watched this show, and telling us what they thought right after. It's. I'm going to miss that. Yeah. Because I think we're shooting to do in the evening now is the game plan. So I will miss that, just being able to come back and before classes start, we all talk in the library about the show.
Yeah.
I will miss that.
The support.
However, I do think, not having to wake up at 6, 7 in the morning.
Oh my God, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
The amount of times I've had to drag this guy out of his dorm was insane. I remember I would like be downstairs calling him on the phone, like, I have no classes until like 1 p.m., yet I'm here for you. You better wake up because you have no excuse. You didn't have to deal with Houston traffic at 7 in the morning. I did.
It's crazy.
And I remember I would have to, I think there was at least like 5-10 times where I would have to do this to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd call him like I'm on my way down, and then I'd roll back over.
And no, sometimes he just straight up told me like, I don't think I can make the show. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like eating breakfast, like, never mind, let's go do it. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing it. How many times have we scared Justin doing that? Or we tell Justin like, hey, we're not gonna make it.
We're not
and then,
gonna
like,
make it.
Never mind, we're
running
doing
late.
it.
We're on the way. It's definitely been a fun ride, an enjoyable experience, folks. Which is why I say we're not going anywhere. This is just a brief pause, but I can promise you that when we come back, it won't be too long. But we got some complicated business to handle, and so we'll see what happens there. Folks, it's been an amazing time. We really enjoyed it. I want to thank Radiodabang for hosting the Patriots Den. I want to thank Mike Kahn for allowing this. I want to thank Justin Shiro for the opportunity as well, to Fuma in the background, all the lights, the cameras, the audio, the visuals that you see.
This
here.
wouldn't be possible without him.
This is not possible without Fuma. He gets here before us to make sure that this is all available and up and working for us. And he's, on Facebook, he's made the clips for us. So I wanted to thank everyone. It's been an amazing time with an amazing team, with an amazing group of people. I want to thank Nathan Bigelow, who, has sat in this chair when I couldn't be here some days. Chris Heasley, who, kind of pioneered the Radiodabang conservative movement that kind of has happened here. And we want to thank you all, the watchers, the listeners, the viewers that, are up this time of the morning, and you could be doing anything else, but instead you chose to sit here and listen to two 20-year-old college student conservatives ramble and rant for an hour. And the feedback we've gotten is great. We thank y'all. We love y'all. I promise you, this isn't the end. We will be back.